Today, I'd like to start the new year by talking about an old issue, which is the plight of Canadian municipalities. These concerns go back a long time. I can recall going through the archives and seeing comments from Edmonton mayors in the 70s and 80s, talking about much the same things we're talking about today. A paternalistic relationship with the provincial government, a lack of financial autonomy, being locked into one revenue stream, which is property taxes, which are pretty inefficient. And unfortunately, a lot of those complaints over the years have been pretty much wasted breath. We haven't fundamentally changed the governance system we have in this country with respect to municipalities. We may now be at a breaking point, though, where we really need to look at this with some urgency, because COVID, which is now going into its third year, has really changed the game. And there has been a tremendous burden placed on large and mid-sized cities in particular. They have suffered all kinds of revenue challenges, from shuttered businesses, lack of transit ridership, closure of recreation centers. They've had to make hard choices like depleting their reserves and engaging in mass layoffs. And they've seen huge social service demands, an explosion in the homeless population, for example, and the drug poisoning crisis. So something needs to change here, because these kinds of issues are going to keep coming, whether it's a continuation of this pandemic or the next one, or natural disasters from climate change, or economic disruption. For example, in Edmonton, a lot of employers have moved their employees to at-home working situations, and there's no guarantee that they're going to come back to the office in the long term. Economic changes also mean that more high-tech jobs are going to be coming to Edmonton, maybe less industrial and natural resource jobs, which means that companies are going to need less of a physical footprint. And so if companies need less property, municipalities, whose only revenue is really from property taxes, they're going to need new ways to raise money. Now, looking at this problem on a national scale is Senator Paula Simons. Now, for context, Paula is a friend of mine, a former colleague at the Edmonton Journal, so keep that in mind when I talk about her. But she has been interested in these issues for a while, and she's trying to get national attention by using her platform in the Senate. She's launched a Senate inquiry. It's not as grandiose as it sounds. It carries no travel budget, no power to call hearings, no power to call witnesses, and so on. It's simply a process where individual senators can make speeches on a particular issue. Senator Simons made hers on December 2nd, and she's lined up some other former mayors and some others with expertise in policing or charity work or poverty work who are now senators, and they will speak in the coming weeks and months. Where it goes from there is the big question. Senator Simons hopes that perhaps this will provoke the Senate to hold or strike a special committee that maybe actually can call hearings and hear from witnesses. Or maybe it will provoke the federal government to do something to change the game. There's a jurisdictional issue here because, of course, municipalities, they're the children of provinces, and the federal government is supposed to stay out of it. But I think there's a growing recognition of the importance of cities to Canada's prosperity, and so there are some that believe the federal government needs to show more direct leadership. I, for one, hope that Senator Simons' initiative succeeds. It goes somewhere. It sparks a conversation that we need to have. We'll see what happens, but the status quo, in my mind, just isn't acceptable anymore. My name is Keith Gerein from the Edmonton Journal. Check out edmontonjournal.com for more of my columns and continuing coverage of municipal politics. Thank you.